we're just kind of letting them make that mistake of turning away. But really what I like to do is I like to get into this flat mode and I like to crush them. I like to put all my weight on them, force them to carry my weight, frustrate them by running my hips up into their arm and squeezing their head, and really just focusing on being as heavy through that shoulder in their big waistband or on their belt buckle as I can be. I want to sap them. That's the reason that you take top position, is because every moment that the person's on bottom holding your weight, their life bar is slowly going down, right? They're like getting drained. They can't take a deep breath because my weight is on them, and they're struggling, they're panicking. They realize that they're in bad shape, and depending on their level of comfort and experience in that position, they start spazzing out. And if they spaz and run, perfect. We take the choke all day. But more experienced people, you're going to have to sort of lead them down that path. They're not going to make that wrong decision on their own right off the bat. So I encourage it through heavy pressure and then a release of pressure. So I'm here with Keith. I'm in flat mode. Right? This is the spot. If he runs, right, if he explodes and runs, boom, I jump out and I take it. No problem. But a lot of guys aren't going to do that. Right? He makes sure trying to dig under my head and I'm fighting his hand here, which is uncomfortable. But I'm trying to give him all this pressure. You see how much blood is way up in the air and a lever in here? Then all I do to encourage him to go the other way is I get light by dropping my knees to the floor. So here are my weights on him. Now half of my weight's in my knees. And then I straighten this arm that he's resting on that turns him. So even if he wasn't thinking that that was the way to go, all of a sudden he's halfway there and he thinks it's the way to go. And then we slide out and finish the choke. So again, it's like, you'll be amazed at when you're stuck in a position that you can't get out of. You know that there's a trap this way, so you try this way, you try that way, you try this way, it doesn't work, try this way, try that way, try that way, it doesn't work. You do all the right things over and over again, but the point is you're on bottom and you're using your energy and he's basically resting on top. What about this way that you knew was wrong before you tired yourself out, right? And so what we want to do is we want to crush them, we want to sap his will, we want to drain their energy, and then we want to make that way look real appealing. And the way that I do it is just simply by unweighting my body. And if you're getting used to this, we're just learning how to get heavy through that flat mode position. That's the first goal. I want that position to just be absolutely crushing. Their arms up in their head, their abdomens compressed, like, oh, this sucks, right? So that's the first goal, is be as heavy as possible. Then from this position where my hips are high and all my weight is here, I drop my knees to get light and I straighten that arm. Because then all the weight is off, his hips are turned for him. Maybe he didn't even want to go that way. He's like, oh, there's a way out. Nope. That's the way to the grave. That's what we're trying to do, is trick him into making those mistakes on his own. And the way that you trick somebody, it's like, what do they say? Fatigue makes cowards of us all. Not so much cowards as much idiots. But you get panicky and super exhausted. You're like, I gotta get out of here. And you go the way that you know is gonna get you killed. Oh, now you can have a Gatorade and go home, right? Does that make sense? So think about that. Get as heavy and bottom guy, talk to him. Tell him, yeah, that's heavier, no, that's lighter. You want to figure out how to get as much pressure from this top position as you can. And bottom guy, you can kind of play around with giving him some movement so we learned how to pin and stabilize through that position. And from being really heavy, butt in the air, just toes on the mat, I straighten the arm to encourage the hips to turn, and I drop my knees to the mat to unweight. And you got to be real savvy to not take that bait, especially after you've been down there. Coach is yelling, get out, get out. I'm like, Coach, okay, oh, here's the way out, right? That's what we're looking for. Does that make sense? Let's play with it. 1, 2.